Saenger Theatre has gone high-tech for the hearing impaired. A state-of-the-art system has been installed that allows the hearing impaired to experience theater events directly through their hearing aids. Here to tell us about the high-tech improvements is Wesley Odom, President of Friends of the Saenger. Thank you, Wesley, for being here today. We're so excited to have you.
It's a pleasure.
I hear that the old way for the hearing impaired to really get directly into the theater events was through having headphones on. Is that correct?
That's right. In the olden days, I should say, if someone was hearing impaired, they would go to an usher and they would ask for a device in order to hear the performances better. And that was this device. It's just a headset device. It has batteries. And they would put the headset on and hearing the performance. The problem was sometimes they would turn the volume up too loud, and that would really interfere and make it not so enjoyable for the person sitting next to them because they heard noise coming from their neighbor, and then they would also hear the sound coming from the theater. And then some of the hearing impaired wouldn't even want to check out this system because it was bulky and it put them on notice to everyone they had a hearing problem. And for the U.S. population, about 20% of the U.S. population has hearing impairment problems. So it's a pretty big, significant thing to be able to do away with this system and to go to a loop system, which is what we've done.
And so that high-tech upgrade, what does it mean now for the hearing impaired? I mean, what is so great about this new upgrade that we have, gotten at the Saenger?
Well, the technology really goes through the hearing aid itself. And most hearing aids, and I have some samples right here. This is a hearing aid that actually is inserted inside the ear, and you can barely see it inside the ear. And then this other hearing aid actually is attached behind the ear. And in both circumstances, the person who has one of these hearing aids, all they have to do is just push the button on the back or on the inside of their hearing aid, and that automatically activates the T-coil setting in their hearing aid. And what that simply means is the sound then resonates directly into the hearing aid at the exact frequency that it's needed to broadcast inside their ear. So what that means is you don't hear, your neighbor doesn't hear the noise. They hear perfect sound, just like they were sitting right next to the speaker. No one knows they ever had a hearing impairment because obviously they're not wearing a hearing set. And it's fabulous technology. The old technology that we had, this system was an FM system, which is just like a radio broadcast. And that system worked, but it had some drawbacks, as you know. The other system that we don't have at the Saenger, which is an infrared system, which is a direct line of sight system, which basically is interfered with any time someone breaks that infrared signal. Again, we don't have that, but the best technology in our research was a loop system. This is very popular over in Europe. About 90% of the public institutions and theaters have it over in Europe. As a matter of fact, when we wanted to renovate the Saenger several years ago, there was discussion about should we install a loop system then. And it was determined that it was too expensive to do that. So we put off that aspect, but then in a conversation with the spouse of an audiologist who worked with the West Florida Medical Center clinic, the hearing center there, he asked, have you ever thought about a loop system for the Saenger? And I said, well, tell me about it. I didn't know about it. So I researched it further, found out that this system works on a magnetic frequency basis, which means that we have a coil that sits in the carpet in the Saenger, and it broadcasts from underneath that carpet magnetically, and then therefore vibrates the telecoil signals inside the hearing aids to produce that broadcast.
So a telecoil system is, in essence, a hearing loop. Is that correct? So
it's a hearing loop. That's correct. It's also known as a loop system.
Okay. Well, that is great new technology. I'm sure people can't wait to try it now that they're hearing about it. And you said a little bit about the hearing center, and that's how the upgrade came about. Is that right?
That's correct. Through a very generous contribution from the hearing center of the Medical Center Clinic. They donated funds as well as the Friends of the Saenger.
Now, can you tell our viewers what hearing aids have this capability? I mean, is there certain models or from a certain year on that has this little button that you can push to tap into that hearing loop?
Most hearing aids today that are manufactured actually have this. If they have a really old hearing aid, it might not have that telecoil technology, but most any ones that are manufactured in the last 10 years probably have that technology.
Okay, and then also I hear that there's a logo that establishments in town, if they have this system, obviously the Saenger will be displaying this, and this notifies people of the T-coil system, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, so you'll see this in any windows or buildings that offer this method of hearing for the hearing impaired, which is great. And if our viewers have any questions about maybe if they want to get a new hearing aid or how it actually works, maybe they're a little skeptical of it, or they don't quite understand this technology, is there anyone that they can contact to get more information about it?
Sure. I think if they have questions or technical questions especially, they would might want to contact the Hearing Center at the West Florida Clinic because they would be able to help determine what exactly their hearing loss is and what kind of system would best suit them. When you get a hearing aid, it's not simply just going to Walmart, for example, I need a hearing aid. You actually go to an audiologist and you actually get diagnosed of what kind of hearing loss you have and what specifically levels do you need to ramp up your hearing in your ear. So if you swap, if let's say you and I both had hearing losses and we couldn't swap hearing aids because your losses might be different from my loss.
Right.
And so if I put in yours, I might not be hearing a perfect signal. Whereas if I put my own in, which was prescribed just for me, the sound would be just right, just what I need.
Well, I guess that makes me wonder then, is there any way that this could be too loud if you're wearing it in the Saenger? I mean, the hearing aid, I don't really know much about hearing aids, but could it be too loud for the person, or is it measured by the prescribed hearing aid? Is that kind of, that regulates it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's not too loud, or it's just if a person who has a hearing aid and if they by pushing the telecoil button, it's automatically, the sound transmits into that as if the person is sitting right next to the speaker.
Okay.
So they eliminate all extraneous noises.
Okay.
But before, if a person who was a hearing impaired sat in the Saenger without this headset, they would hit a lot of noise, or in the theater they would pick up a lot of noise. They might not be able to even understand what's going on entirely on stage.
Right.
In this system, it grabs whatever in the sound system and pipes it directly into the ear, so there's no ambient noise that's going to interfere with anything.
Now, how long has this been in the Saenger? Has anybody been able to use the system yet? Or
we installed it recently, like within a few weeks ago.
Oh,
the first time we installed it, we had some people who were hearing impaired, and they notified the ushers they thought there were birds in the Saenger because the system was not tweaked like it should have been.
Right.
We don't have any birds in the Saenger.
Okay, that's good to know.
So we eliminated that problem. It was just kind of like we didn't tweak it just right. But right now, everything is set to go with Mamma Mia, which is a big performance we have coming up with Friends of the Saenger. But it's also operational for other events right now through the rest of February and into March. So from this time forward, we're excited about this new technology.
Yeah, that sounds great. I can't wait to take my little old grandmother and have her try it out, because I know she'll be excited that she can hear everything that's going on. Real fast, just let our viewers know one more time where they can get more information either from the Friends of the Saenger or the Hearing Center on this new technology, and we'll leave them with that.
Sure, absolutely. Well, the Friends of the Saenger is a nonprofit organization that's meant to support the Saenger Theatre.
Right.
And we don't have a phone number, but we work closely with the Saenger Theatre, which of course is owned by the city of Pensacola.
Right.
And that theater is located downtown in Pensacola. It's a historic theater. It was established in 1925. It's one of, it's also known as the Grand Dam of Palafox. Their number is 595-3882. And then we also have the Hearing Center of West Florida. They're the ones, as Dr. Max Katner and Dr. Derek Jones, who lead that group, and they're the ones responsible for helping us with those funds, and also the audiologist, Jennifer Laborde.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here. We're very excited.